Hello, boys and girls, and those watching around the world. This is Mr. Brzezinski speaking, aka the Calvin Klein of technology. And today, what we are going to do is come up with a fantastic design. Now, you know what you like about your favorite articles of clothing, and we're going to try to incorporate some of those principles into our design. So, what you first want to do is come up with a name for your company. And you probably want to come up with a target audience, someone or some group of people that will probably like your product. So you got to come up with a theme. For instance, if I'm into BMX biking, I may centralize my designs around BMX biking. If I'm into sports, that's fine. If I'm into book reading, if I'm into band, if I'm into cheerleading, if I'm into anything really, any of your interests, you can design a clothing line around these products. However, what you do not want to do is come up with something that already exists. I don't want to see Nichman Soccer. I don't want to see Stars Cheerleading. I don't want to see Hunger Games t-shirts, things that are already copyrighted and trademarked and all this stuff. I want to see something original. From your brain, you have to come up with something that can be seen as your own, okay? That's the key here is I want you to be as creative as possible, thinking and rooting around your brain to come up with something that can actually work in a real life situation without anybody being able to say, hey, you stole that idea from somewhere else. Okay, so keep that in mind when you come up with the name of your product. Now, in coming up with a name, sometimes I think about something in the theme of my target audience that not everyone would recognize, but if you are in my target audience, if you read the books that I read, if you participate in the sports that I participate, you will recognize the term and know the meaning. So for instance, you have in the MMA world, the UFC world, you have a brand called Tap Out, which is very popular because the tap out came from the mixed martial arts and the mixed martial, so they go hand in hand together. You'll see later on that I'll use the word crossface in my wrestling. Okay, so I'll come up with my own product line called Crossface. You will come up with, you can come up with an idea like that where you use a word, a term, some type of terminology from your theme that people that you want to sell these products to will understand and recognize and identify with. That's good business. Now, if you can't come up with something like that, or you want some help coming up with an idea for a name of your product, you could use one of these websites here. And these websites will actually show you prefixes and suffixes of common words. And this is very common in products that you see on television, as seen on TV products. It will use suffixes and prefixes so you can kind of understand what the product might do without actually seeing the product. So Audi has to do with hearing. Auto means automatic, or self, it does it by itself. So there are some words here that you can use. Maybe you want to come up with a word that has the meaning of your theme, or can have to do something, like if you want to talk about a powerful football player, you might want to find a prefix or suffix that kind of exemplifies the word power, right? So you can pause the video now and just think for a couple seconds about a theme and maybe spitball a few ideas around and see what sticks to the wall, see what really rings true for products that you are going to create. So think about it and then come back to the video after you've thought about it and have a name for your product. Okay, so you thought of a name. Fantastic. Let's move on from here. You could also think down the line that you may want to name each one of your products within your theme. So maybe you have a blanket term, like maybe because you're into BMX, you call it the Mudslingers. And then your t-shirt name will be called the Sprockets. Okay? And maybe your sneaker design will be called the Peddlers. Okay, so you understand how I'm working here, that maybe you come up with some interesting titles for each one of your products. very similar to what Nike does with each one of the Nike Air Max, Nike Air Jordans, Jordan 20s, so on and so forth. So you would see here, like this is a picture of a sprocket. You might recognize this from your bike. So maybe you would give your one of your items the name of Sprocket, so Mudslinger Sprocket, or maybe your interest is in cheerleading, So you might call like, Pom Pom Power, or, some type of twist to terminology used by cheerleaders, and you can incorporate this into your project as well. And that's going to give you a real solid project, and I look forward to seeing it. Now let's get into some design so you can move on to the next video and listen in to how to design some of your products now.